Hi, I'm Josh from Vacuums R Us and Sewing 2 in Colorado again. And today we're going to be looking at how to replace the brush strips on a Riccar or Carpet Pro or Simplicity vacuum cleaner. So the particular brush we're going to be working on is used on a ton of different models of Riccar, Simplicity, and Carpet Pro vacuum cleaners for the last 30 odd years. So this video is going to apply to a lot of people, and even regardless of even if you don't have a Riccar and you're looking to do brush strip replacement, some of the cheats that I'm going to show you on here may very well help you and save you a lot of time. I know even a lot of vacuum technicians absolutely dread putting on brush strips. It can be very difficult. Sometimes they're a very tight fit. Longer brush strips can be tough. I've got a couple of tricks I'm going to show you that might save you some time and frustration, and might also save you from damaging brush strips as well. So what I'm working on today, I'm in the middle of a service that's being done on an S20 or R20 vacuum cleaner, right? But I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. So this is the type that has a clutch on the end. So there's a independently rotating wheel which will lock down when that is engaged. Actually, it doesn't look like it's in great shape. That clutch is a little bit loose, so we're going to have to address that as well. Some of these, they do not have a clutch here. It's just a solid pulley right there. This one has a serpentine belt. Some of them will have smooth belts. So again, they've used this for the tons of machines, the Symmetry series, the Vibrance series, S20, R20, the current CleanMax machines, the green CleanMax machines are using this type of setup. So this video is going to be applicable to a lot of people. Particularly now since CleanMax is using this, their commercial line is CleanMax, and you commercial cleaners burn through brushes with a quickness and like to do a lot of your own maintenance. This will be helpful for you. So if you do have a machine that has a clutch system like this does, you're going to find when you take this apart, there's some fiber washers that are in here, or some like plastic washers. Those are very important that you get those back in when you put it back together. So personally, when I take these brush rolls apart, I always suggest that you line up the parts as you take them off so that you can remember how they go back on again. And we don't forget how they go back on. There's a spring in here between the two clutch discs. The spring goes in there. All right, and now my end cap is gonna slide right off. So I can see already why my clutch was not engaging. There's a felt seal that goes in the end on these brushes, and that is all that's left of that felt seal. So after the felt seal wears out, what happens is there's not enough. There's a whole bunch of junk in there. What happens is that the clutch doesn't push tight enough anymore because it's loose, because the felt seal wore out. So most likely replacing that felt seal doing this will actually fix the issue with the clutch too, because the clutch probably isn't worn, it's just that the brush roller isn't tight enough anymore. So now that we're to this point, we need to pop off these two end caps. We can simply do that with a screwdriver. So the new brush rollers have this end cap is plastic. The older ones were metal. The metal ones were much better. The plastic ones have a tendency to melt a lot more. They're not nearly as resilient. Don't take your finger off. Here's a good place for the disclaimer. I am a trained professional, I guess. If you don't feel comfortable doing this, don't do it. Any of the videos that we make, you can follow these instructions at your own risk. We're not liable for any mistakes, like stabbing yourself with a flathead screwdriver like you almost got to see today. So you can kind of watch the action of me pushing these, pushing these out, right? So I'm kind of just working it out, pushing it out like that. These ones are coming out relatively easily. They're a little bit stuck, but if you find, and boy, if you've watched my videos, you know I love isopropyl alcohol. If you find that they're sticking, I'll pop this cap off real quick at the end. There we go. Pop that cap off. So if you find that your brush strips are sticking, spritz a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on there. That will help to dissolve the grease and stuff like that gets in there that makes these stick. Spritz a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and that might help to loosen them up. And the nice thing about isopropyl, and I've mentioned it 1,000 times before, is that it evaporates quickly and doesn't leave residue, doesn't stay behind wet, potentially rusting, and it's not like oil where it's sticky and you're going to find that you're going to have stuff sticking to it after the fact. Also part of the reason why I wear gloves. It rips up your hands pretty good if you use a lot of isopropyl alcohol over a long time. It dries your hands out. So that's why you see me always wearing gloves, because I'm using denatured and isopropyl and all kinds of different alcohols that are not great on your hands. So here's a step a lot of techs will skip. I'm going to actually clean this brush roller again with isopropyl alcohol. And that's going to help me get these brush strips on, because all this buildup and residue and grossness right here will tend to make your brush strips stick. And you don't want that. So I spritz some isopropyl on them, and it looks nice too. If you're doing this for a customer, they get back a brush roller that looks, you know, sparkling and new. So that's cool too. But it's also this is just very practical too. Also, brush rollers that have a buildup on them will tend to wrap hair more than brush rolls that do not have a sticky buildup. You also find that metal brush rolls tend to wrap hair less than wooden brush rollers, and plastic brush rollers are the worst. Okay, so we've got this cleaned off entirely. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to put the brush strips back on. So again, you can use isopropyl alcohol as a lubricant if you get stuck. So you can, usually this part is the easy part. Getting it part way on is easy. You'll want to twist the brush roller, because you can see it twists around here, right? They don't go straight on. So if you twist the brush roller or the brush strip, you can see how it will retain that form as I twist it, and it'll slowly untwist. But it'll retain that form. So if you twist it as you're putting it on, you see how easy that goes on? Just went right on, just like that. Because I had pre-twisted it, I made sure that it was clean. So I get the end on again. And if I just try to push it on, it's a pain in the butt, right? So I get the end on, I twist it a little bit. Twist it a little bit, and then it'll push right on, no problem. We get rust involved, and that can, you know, complicate things, make things more difficult, but still, this twist and then making sure your brush roll is thoroughly clean before you put these strips on goes a really long way. So we'll put that back on there, twist our brush. So you can twist it a little bit more. Okay, and also another trick, if you get down to the end and you're having a hard time pushing it on, you can push up against the bench. You'll have like an overhang. I'll pop this back off again, like this. So you can push up and kind of use your body weight to get it on. That's a little dicey, because if you strip out the channels on the sides of these brush rolls, they can pop out of, or these brush strips, they can pop out of the brush roll after you get it all back together. All right, so now we just have to put it back together again. We're going to go the opposite direction. I'm not going to tape all that, because I think you guys get the idea. I do want to note I'm going to replace that felt seal, and that is most likely going to resolve the issue with my clutch on that side. I'm looking at this clutch pad. It's a little bit worn out. And then my disc. But this is not really... I really don't think this needs replacement. Clutch pad is worn down a little bit. I think we're mostly looking at an issue with my felt seal. The other thing too is I can also add in another one of these fiber washers to tighten the brush up, and that may actually resolve the issue as well. But I'm going to start with the felt seal, see if that fixes it. And if not, I might throw in some of these fiber washers. All the parts for all of these can be found on our website. I'll put the link below. The schematics, right? So the layout, the diagram of the machine, the blowout of the brush roll. And then you can see like there's 4 different types of brush rolls, and it'll lay out all the different parts. If you do end up needing components, the brush strips are obviously available there as well. But if you do end up needing components like that felt seal or this doohickey or whatever, it's all there, and you can look at the full parts list.